Hey YouTube, so the class changes are finally live and we'll go over how the classes have changed now in more detail. Starting off with Chaos Slayer. So as you guys know, Chaos Slayer is going to get a nerf in farming, and it has. So it no longer applies Chaos Blight when it is in farming mode and multiple target mode. It only applies when it's a single target mode. But they haven't completely removed it. They created Chaos Affliction, which is like Chaos Blight, but it only increases damage by 30%. But they've also actually made Chaos Slayer a bit more good at survivability. The heal is now always activated by the force skill rather than it being a 50% chance, but they haven't removed the barrier either, because now there's a 50% chance that the heal and the barrier activate at the same time. And next they've also nerfed Chrono Assassin. So basically they've nerfed it in damage and that's just about it. The relapse skill does less damage now, but its mana cost has also gone down. And Convert, which I think is a passive, now increases crit chance to crit damage by the intended amount, so I'm assuming it's less than before. Chrono Assassin can still solo pretty much any monster in the game, it's still good in survivability, it's just the damage that's gone down a bit. And also Legion Revenant has gotten a pretty big buff. All the skills are now infinite range, the mana cost for Atramented Shade has decreased, the Wicked Purgatory skills now targets 3 instead of 1, the mana cost has halved, and for Depraved Empowerment, mana cost halved again, and the cooldowns decreased as well. And Anathema now no longer plays Ars Arcanum, which pretty much used to decrease your mana costs, but now it doesn't do that. But it's okay because mana costs for almost all the skills have halved or more, like for Anathema. And Vamp Lord has received a nerf. The cooldown now is no longer 2 seconds, it's 2.5 seconds. So it's not that big of a nerf, to be honest, and it's still a pretty good class. In fact, it's still a great farming class. And now for Void Highlord, which has also received a nerf but also some buffs. So Contract no longer applies Abyssal Sacrifice, and it's been moved to another skill, and the DOT damage has been reduced, which isn't that big of a deal, it was barely anything anyways. Shackle, as the range has changed to melee, and same for Unshackle. The big problem with this is that before you could use Void Highlord as a farming class, guys had great range and great damage. Now that it's moved to melee range, it's not as good, but it's still decent. Highlord's Gaze now applies a minus 20% reduction to haste, hit and dodge. Before it was 5% but increased with each stack. Also the mana cost has gone down, which is good. And Armageddon now applies Abyssal Sacrifice, and also the mana cost has gone down to 50. Relentless Onslaught, which is a passive skill, increases your crit chance, hit chance by 20% now rather than 15. And Undying Highlord. So pretty much Abyssal Sacrifice will now increase all damage your opponent or monster takes, rather than just being physical damage, which means it's now better in group fights. But the max stacks has gone down to 10 rather than 20, and the duration has gone up to 20 rather than 8 seconds. So overall it has obviously been nerfed in solo damage, but in party damage it may have actually been a small buff. I'll make a video going over some of the classes, seeing before and after, including Void Highlord later, and see how much of a difference it has made. And Yami no Ronin has also been buffed. Some skills have just been renamed. For the flash, outgoing damage, incoming damage, hit chance and crit chance per stack has gone from 5% to 4%. Each duration has increased to 9, sand duration has decreased to 5. The sand crit damage has gone from 50% to 150%, so that's a big increase. And dodge has gone up to 80% for Hisome, which used to be called Suchiresu. And Goyu, which was known as Sokudo before, no longer increases damage and now increases outgoing damage by 35. That's some pretty good buffs for survivability and just overall damage for Yami no Ronin. And finally, Chaos Avenger. As they said last week, it will also be getting a nerf, because if Void Highlord gets nerfed, so should Chaos Avenger. So they've decreased the damage, but now you receive 60 mana per every auto attack. And also the incoming damage per stack has now gone from 8% to 5%, so basically it was a defense debuff to your opponent, and the max stacks have gone from 5 to 8, the cooldown has decreased to 6. And Flux now applies focus rather than the 5 skill, so the corrupted debuff duration has increased from 15 to 20 seconds, but the cooldown has also increased by almost double. And for Chaos Bulwark, also 8 seconds has gone down to 6 seconds. And Fury Unleashed, like I said, no longer applies focus. Dragon of Time is also getting some farming buffs and some soloing buffs, and overall damage increase, mana decreases, cooldown durations has decreased, and it's pretty much better in every way now. So it's worth checking out again if you haven't used it in a while. And now, as for the classes, they've also changed the focus skill of Chrono Commander no longer applies focus on Time Rift, but I think it does now on Severed Rift. which now applies focus for 4 seconds. And Naval Commander no longer applies focus on strike and parry, it applies on Flintlock Fury, so you can't taunt loop anymore. And those are the changes they made to all the classes, and that's the last one. So I'll try and make some videos showing a before and after of some of the classes, and let me know what you guys think. Good changes, bad changes, any need to be reverted. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.